We now go to a viewer question on the Buffalo Animal Shelter. This question was sent to us by Julie, who asks, regarding the ongoing issue of the deplorable conditions at the City of Buffalo Animal Shelter. It has previously been advised by Mayor Brown and his administration that a building has been secured as well as funding. Where does that stand? And if that turns out to be false information, what is your plan to resolve this ongoing situation to help the city shelter meet the pending New York State requirements? And we begin with Mr. Ryan.
So New York State passed a new set of rules about animal shelters. We gave cities years to come into compliance, but we also made state money available so cities could upgrade their animal shelters. Guess what? City of Buffalo never applied for the money. Instead, they said they're going to take the fine. The City of Buffalo operates a kill animal shelter. It is barbaric, it is behind the times, and we can do better. But this isn't a new issue. Year after year, this issue's come up, and every year we hear a new promise from the city. Next year, we're going to build a new shelter. Next month, we're going to build a new shelter. But they've never applied for state money. The money was there to help build a modern animal shelters where we aren't killing dogs because their owners don't get to the shelter in time before they're destroyed. I did a press conference in front of the animal shelter. The stories I heard were so sad about the treatment of those animals. I'm a dog owner, I'm a dog lover, and under my watch, we will not be killing dogs at our animal shelter.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Mr. Whitfield.
Yeah, as a dog lover, animal lover, I too would support, the city of Buffalo doing something humane in terms of an animal shelter. I'm not familiar with the issue surrounding the current shelter, but I certainly would advocate for humane treatment of our animals and also of our people. There are homeless people on the streets in the city of Buffalo that are not getting the attention in some cases that these animals get, and we need to address that also.
Thank you, Mr. Whitfield. To Mr. Tyson Thompson now.
Yeah, I would say the city of Buffalo leadership has a miraculous ability of getting everything wrong. There's always issues in terms of convolution and confusion. We say we have this initiative or this thing that's going on and never happens. I think as a leader of the city of Buffalo, we have to first analyze what's going on and why things are the wrong or why they are, and then synthesize real solutions that are going to impact the system. Working to the animal shelter, seeing how we can find humane practices so people aren't losing their pets, their loved ones, and people who are part of the family. We have to find ways to be equitable, also empathetic and compassionate, and then find those compassionate ways and turn them into action. So as mayor, it's pretty simple. You engage the people, you engage the organizations and the stakeholders, and then you find the solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson Thompson. Mr. Wyatt.
Thank you. I think that I know Councilmember Nowakowski, this was a big issue for him. And again, it seems as though the council members are always last to get the support to address issues such as this. I think that we need to be listening to one another, making certain that these types of issues we can work around. Because right now we're cash strapped. And so if this is a priority for that district council member and for the residents in this city, we should be addressing it. It shouldn't have been something that we put on the back burner. Unfortunately, it just seems as though we don't plan very well, and it comes up to situations like this where we're under the gun and we have to make a decision. I would support funding this particular project because I don't believe in killing animals. Now, I'm not an animal lover, but my grandchildren, well, Poppy, you can't do this. And I agree with them. There are people who want to do humane things for animals, and we should be doing that. And we should be using the taxpayer dollars to make sure the things that the state has mandated, we've done. But too often, we have a knee-jerk reaction to something when the public starts outcrying, and then we're scrambling. That's something that under my administration we will not continue to do. We have to have plans together. We have to make sure we can fund projects that are important to the residents of the city of Buffalo.
Thank you, Mr. Wyatt. Mr. Scanlon.
Thank you. I cannot speak to what the previous administration did or did not apply for. I cannot speak to Mayor Brown's statement about another location. What I can tell you is that since I became mayor, we've been working on this. And there is a new location identified that we have identified that's actually going to be announced later this week. It's a unique public-private partnership that is going to create a new shelter location that's going to be fantastic for the workers, for the people who care about the animal shelter, and most importantly, the animals that are there. We'll be announcing it later this week, and again, For those who think this is some last-minute thing or that we scrambled to do this, if you take a look at our budget that we proposed in early April, we have allocated resources for additional positions, a new executive director, things like that to make sure that the services being provided there are second to none, and that the animals, the animal lovers, and everyone else involved will make sure that it's a top-notch facility.
Mr. Scanlon, if I may, you were on our air a couple of weeks ago for our monthly Ask the Mayor segment.
Correct.
We asked you about the Buffalo Animal Shelter then. You said in a matter of weeks we will have something. 2 weeks.
did.
It's been longer than 2 weeks. Are you able to provide any more information since you're saying this is going to be released this week? Here it is Tuesday night.
Yeah, I can tell you that was 2 weeks ago. I said we're announcing it 2 weeks. We're announcing it later this week. It's on the west side of Buffalo, and you will hear that announcement later this week.